everybody, welcome to Pub Table Racers number, who cares, we've been on a roll for over a year. My name is Tim Packman, sitting next to me is, fresh off his victory as part of Team Penske at Talladega Super Speedway is...
Warren Bozell.
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
It was a great run.
Yeah.
You had it divided at the end. 21?
21 I was pulling for him.
I know, that's your guy. I know, that's the team there, but...
he'll get one.
He'll get one. You know, once again, though, he's like, the dejection on his face.
I like the underdog always.
Yeah, but he's turned to being an underdog. So we're good with that. Welcome to tonight's show. Warren, why do we have a bucket of beer in front of us?
We have a bucket of Miller High Life in front of us because this is Pub Table Racers, and we're going to sit at a pub table, drink beer, and talk about our guests past, present, and future. And we drink Miller High Life because we both worked and know Bobby Allison fairly well. Yep. And it's our beer of choice.
Here we go.
We cheers Bobby.
Cheers to Bobby. That's what we do every show. Bob Fetzer, how you doing? Okay, so our guest is Big Ed Watkins. Has a great story. College standout athlete, championship jackman, gasman, Hendrick, Junie Donlevy. We should learn about that ahead of time. Joe Gibbs Racing. Everham. He was part of the Rainbow Warriors. This is our first Rainbow Warrior that we're going to have on, so it's kind of a big night. And we'll get to him and tell his great story. And now he's with 23X11 with Bubba Wallace. And he also owns a really killer business, which does great on Lake Norman because it's a boat business.
And a bass fisherman's boat business, and he does a great job with that.
And we'll talk to him about who the guys that are working in the shop servicing. We might know some of the names that we've worked with. So tonight is brought to you by...
Hell, if this all blows up, I might have to go work on boats.
Hey, look, if this blows up, then guess what? I'll be the tester. You fix them, that one looked good. That's good. Tim, how come you'll have to go with a cooler or a pub table racer? We'll just, we'll have a pub table racer boat. I like how this is going so far.
We need to test drive that pontoon. I got a cooler right here.
Girls, let's go. Kim, drilling, let's go. All right, so this show is brought to you by Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms. Go see them on Brawley School Road in Mooresville here. Rapid Removal, Darren Russell, check his out. And also RacingJunk.com. Check them out. And also we have the Garage Shop. Real quick, the Garage Shop. Tomorrow morning I leave on an adventure that I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's great. We are going to Blytheville, Arkansas for the East Coast Time Trial Association, East Coast Timing Association Spring Fling Time Trials. I think I got that right. Straight line, old airport. And we're going to use the airstrip. We're doing quarter, half, mile, I think maybe mile and a quarter, I think.
Aaron driving all of them?
Aaron's driving the Dodge Daytona, the Ford Talladega, and then I got our Vance Kirshner, who's a partner on the whole deal. He's going to drive as well. We got some other cars, but I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about seeing these cars that all those guys at the garage shop have been working on for months. They're finally going to cut them loose down the track, so it's going to be cool. And then we got something.
Set some records.
I hope so. And then we're doing something pretty cool on Monday that I can't really talk about, but I'll be posting a lot of pictures, so it's going to be pretty good. It involves Talladega. That's all I'm saying. So let's get into the news of the week here before we bring that up. Talladega, big weekend. So Saturday, I didn't think we were going to race.
I had the weather on and the radar, and it was pretty messy below Talladega.
Right.
And they got their NASCAR window and pretty much went racing.
I was doing stuff around the house, and I'm like, okay, let me just see what they did for postponing when they're going to be. And they're like 20 laps into it. So I said, oh, no. So I go running down, go check it out, and I had to watch Andy Jankowiak from Buffalo area, modified standout, and he finished 7th. Did what we had to do, and good. So that's 2 races, 2 top 10s, Daytona and Talladega. So congrats to him. Corey Himes, the winner, and we're going to give you an update. The fire, Derek Lancaster. So that was bad. That was scary.
So the one thing we all know about composite bodies is that unlike steel, they will burn.
Right.
And when you get an oil leak, that stuff's going to start on fire and it's going to burn, and it's not good to breathe.
Right.
And it's just not good with fire.
No.
And hopefully someone looks into that and comes up with a little bit better. Either we got to protect the oil lines better, because that was oil.
And the engine's still pumping the oil.
Engine's pumping oil. That was oil that started the fire. And we either got to put them fires out better with a better fire bottle system, or they're going to have to do something to this composite stuff because everybody's going to be composite here sooner or later.
And that's why we're bringing it up.
And we're going to have to put it out, or
So
they're going to have troubles.
So the fire bottles, there's one that goes off with heat, and it goes towards the back, points towards the fuel in the trunk.
The driver can do
and
one.
then the driver can do one as
Right.
well. But if the driver is incapacitated,
Right.
he can't do one. So
I think they all need to go off with heat, and they maybe need to have a couple sprayers in a couple different spots.
yeah,
My opinion.
no, I get it. So we're looking at that. So an update on Derek. His wife's been posting. They put him in a sedated coma, and he's slowly coming out of it. He's opening his eyes, and they're weaning him off the oxygen. Second and third degree burns on his hands, face, and I think they said his arms. So that's something to look at there. Oh, by the way, on the way to Arkansas tomorrow, we're stopping at this guy's house. His nickname was Jaws. We're going to stop and interview him. So that'll be fun.
Okay. Nice.
Andy bought a new car today. Oh, okay, Andy J. We'll see. So that race went, and Corey Heim, and then the Xfinity race. So the weather's still looking good.
Yep.
And as the race is going on, now they're racing each other, fuel and weather.
And weather. So, and what I liked about that race is, as big as that place is, and the way the weather works down there, you could see this sheet, this cloud coming. You could see the rain coming. You could see it. They were showing. I mean, I'm watching on TV, but they showed it coming, and. I mean, I'm happy for Jeb Burton.
Yep.
It was.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But it wasn't like he locked in it. He was running in
He was
top
up
5,
there.
top 10.
You got to be up front to win.
Yep. And the story about him is, he's been through the ups, the downs. He's taken single rides. He's taken less than stellar rides. Colleague Racing gave him the opportunity this year. He's the son of Ward Burton.
Yeah.
And he gets the win. I don't care what. It's a win's a win.
It's a win's a win.
That's it. So
you have
congrats to him.
2 fathers that have done very well in the sport,
Mm-hmm.
and now two cousins.
Right.
I'll
Two
say
cousins, yeah.
Cousins. Does that
Right.
make sense?
That's fine.
That both are winners.
So Harrison and him, now the
Yeah.
winners. So the family legacy continues.
I think Christmas dinner will be fun.
All right, so that was good, and Harrison that. So we have that, and then we come to the Cup race on Sunday. Beautiful weather, sunny as can be.
Yeah, everything moved out.
They said they sold 30% tickets. I'm telling you, every ticket was sold, and the infield looked jammed. It's good to see fans are coming back.
Yeah, it looked like there was a lot of fans there to me. I was
So-
surprised.
And Mike Joy had a great line. He says, "You know why it says this is Talladega on the wall? So when you wake up on Friday or Saturday morning after partying in the infield, you can look out and go, oh, I'm in Talladega."
You realize where you're at.
Mike Joy making a
Right.
party joke. Kind of funny right there. So
Don't drag your grill in your tent if
No,
it
don't
gets
do
cold.
that. No, we don't do that. No.
Yeah.
We talked. Yeah, don't do that ever. Cup race gets going. Joey has a
Yep, and
Right over.
I mean, it's just a product. I don't, he even said it's not Denny. That's just a product of that racing.
Mhm.
And you're so tight. Everybody's wide open. One little move, one little mistake, one little arrow, flubber off the car, and you're sideways and you're wrecking. In my opinion, they're going too fast.
Yeah.
It seemed like to me years ago when we were keeping them under 200, around that 190 range, that they wouldn't blow over as much. Now you see them, we're over 200, and in a draft, and they're starting to get airborne again, and that's never good.
no.
And he was very lucky.
And he was very, very adamant about what he said later.
Right.
Which he's entitled to.
Some people complain that he's whining and this and that, blah blah
Hey,
blah.
man, he's in
but,
that car.
I mean,
It's his life in there.
Ryan Newman had a worse situation,
Mhm.
but with the same. It was because of the same problems.
Right.
The cars are lifting off.
Way too fast.
We got to stop the cars from lifting off. We got to keep them on the ground, and then there's less. You're less likely to crush the roof halo and not be able to get your window net down.
Right. And there was photos that came out today of the.
Safety crews did cut the window net.
Right. So those things they
so
have to
he could
address.
get
Yeah. I mean, we all like the racing there. It's interesting, but
Right. It's fun. It's
the cost. We don't want
is
the
it
cost.
cool to see him fly? Yeah, as
No,
long as you're
no.
not in the car.
No, right.
Joey didn't think it was too cool.
No,
I'm sure
sure.
Bubba didn't think it was too cool when he's seen this car coming at him like this. If that hits him in the windshield,
Guess what?
yeah,
His day's done.
something could
Couldn't
go through
work
that
there.
windshield and he could be severely
And
hurt.
we will bring on his gas man to talk about that.
Yeah, we will.
Pretty good. Okay, so we have the winner, the Benedetto at the end there. I thought, man, and I just wish, and this is nothing against Martin, but to have that tire casing come off like that, come on, man. Like, I want to see him run it to the end. We always have this green-white checker, and it stinks at the end. But, it is what it is.
Well, and the end probably might have not played out anyways without the tire.
Sure.
I'm a firm believer that you do not want to be in first place at those speedway races. You want to be about third or fourth,
right?
And because you're going to watch second and first make their beds, and then you're going to be the I mean, so
Right.
I'm just going to say that
I get it.
Numero uno is not always the place to be there. You're kind of a duck.
And shout out to Kaz Gralla. Worked his way through there. Top 10 out of the whole deal. And it's like, whoa, there you go. But that's Talladega. Real quick follow up on the Jennifer Joe Cobb. We talked about it last week, what happened at Talladega. Kelly Crandall, racer.com, I'm going to post it later, wrote an awesome story about Jennifer's background, what she went through, her feelings and emotions through the last week. And it just kind of basically spells out that Jennifer said, look, if I can't race, great, but what is the, not great, but I get it, but what is the protocol?
Yeah.
What is the defined way that how you can get in there? So Kelly Crandall's a 2-time award-winning writer, so multiple. But go to racer.com. So she got to speak. She finally, got to speak her side of the story.
Well, and that's good, because I'm going to say, there's not a, I got to say it like this: that whole field isn't full of great drivers.
No, we did. I went through the stats. I went through them last week.
And you got to give these these people who come to your race and help you field cars
in other series.
You got to give them a little bit of
credit,
benefit of the doubt too.
Okay. Real quick, as you can see, we have merchandise, folks. Shameful plug time. So Warren Design. But by the way, I was told to remind you that it was Geraldine's idea to do the bucket with her logo on it.
Okay.
She asked me to slide that in there. But we have the tumblers. We have the hats. Hats right there. T-shirts right there. T-shirts right there. PubTableRacers.com merchandise. Click. We sold a couple last week, so they're available. They make great. What's the next holiday coming up?
President's Day.
Arbor Day.
Yeah.
They make great Arbor Day gifts. And then Father's Day, Mother's Day. All right, I think
Mother's
it's time.
Day.
Yeah, I think it's
That's
time.
a big one. Sure,
Right? I
let's
think
bring
it's time.
it on.
You ready to go?
Yeah, we need time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy we're bringing up, he is one of the original Rainbow Warriors.
Right.
College athlete standout. Went to Junie Donlevy for free. Hendrick Motorsports, Ray Everham Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, multiple championships, multiple Daytona 500s. His name is Big Ed Watkins. In about 2 seconds, you're going to see why, because he comes up.
Yeah.
He's also the owner of Ed Watkins Marine, and he's also a speaker and a coach, and does a great job of that. Man, this is your time to come join us.
So
We are going to be dwarfed.
yeah,
We're going to think it's eclipse here. We're going to be not even exist anymore.
this guy is longevity in the pit
Sure.
crew side of it is
There you go.
almost unheard of.
There you go. Ed, thanks for joining us. By the way, as a treat, when you come on the show, we invite you to join us
Thanks
in
for coming.
a frosty Miller High Life.
Wait.
Jeez, all this working out, I feel like I've done nothing.
Let me grab you one, Ed.
I'm at the pub hanging out with some great guys.
A lot of history.
My day is
How
complete.
many
All
times
right.
you and I worked together? We were trying to to let
Long
Abraham.
time.
Abraham.
That's
Yeah.
not even on my resume. That's okay. First of all, welcome. You gotta pop your top.
Absolutely.
You gotta toast your rival.
Cheers.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Guys
coming.
right.
twisted my arm already.
That's that choice thing. All right, so you come from, where's your hometown, and how the hell did you get in racing, buddy?
Born and raised in Richmond, Virginia,
Okay.
and pretty much grew up loving racing.
Right.
Grew up screwing up my mom's and dad's car, trying to figure out how a carburetor works. I'll never forget a 1976 Chevrolet Impala with the big block 454
Yeah,
in
big
it.
quadra-junk. We quadra-jet on it. We call them quadra-junk.
Damn hood was the size of an aircraft carrier
Yeah.
landing deck. So what did I decide when I was age 8? I'm gonna pull the damn carburetor apart, figure out how some bitch works, get some more power so Mama can take me to Baskin Robbins a lot faster.
And how'd that work out?
I ended up missing half the parts of the float, lost half the parts of all the jetting.
Perfect.
Ended up dumping raw fuel into the intake. Mom tried to fire the thing up to take me to church one morning. Ended up blowing fire farts out of the tailpipe. Scared the daylights out of her.
Kind of like the Batmobile?
Yeah, exactly.
So at that point you realize, okay, maybe mechanics isn't my thing right there.
Attention to detail. Ray always speaks about attention to detail. From that point on,
Right.
I learned the hard way about attention to detail.
So as you're getting older, you're in high school and everything, still liking racing and everything, and obviously sports had to be a big part of your.
Sports were, absolutely.
Because, you know, I'm looking at you. Did you
I
play the
loved
whole line, half the line, or part of the line?
Wherever I could go, and the band was at, and the cheerleaders, and the fans,
Right,
and
sure.
all the Friday night
Sure.
Friday night lights, right?
Friday night lights, that smell of that fall air.
Sure.
Yeah.
Count me in. I'm right there.
And the racing part, you were just a fan of the stand.
Racing, something that I always loved. I remember going since I was knee-high to a grasshopper to.
What was that, 3 days?
Yeah. To the old fairgrounds
I was 19.
at Richmond. And Southside Speedway.
Right.
Probably just a few miles down the road. South Boston.
Yeah.
Golly. Yeah, South Boston. And like we were talking about seeing just, you know, Tommy Ellis, all these guys, the old Goo Cluster car running around at South Boston. I love the smell.
Houston's, right?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And
So you're
from that point on, just hooked.
So as you go high school, you're still on racing. You go to college and you go to NC State, right?
Oh God.
Okay. What?
Go Pirates.
I knew that.
Go Pirates.
I just want to see the reaction. Purple, go purple. I got it. So now you're playing football there.
Yes, yeah. Ended up playing ball at ECU, and talking about just, you know, it's amazing. Life is all about timing. It's all about being with the right people at the right time. That was a perfect opportunity. It was all the coaches that were just one stepping stone away from hitting it big. I remember our defensive coordinator was Chuck Pagano. Chuck Pagano ended up becoming Peyton Manning's head coach for the Indianapolis Colts.
Just good stuff right there.
Just, you know, Coach Jagozinski, he was my offensive line coach. He ended up becoming the head football coach at Boston College for Matt Ryan.
Wow.
So defensive line coach, Coach Cliff was Yoshida was Bruce Smith's defensive line coach at Virginia Tech. So all these guys, everything's came together. We had studs, great team, great chemistry, great coaching staff, and the next thing you know, ECU just takes off in the mid-90s. They had that killer year where they beat NC State in the Peach Bowl, and then the whole mid-90s, when I was there, I ended up being top 25, going to bowl games, kicking butt, and having fun.
So from that, I mean, so your concept of
So you know,
Go Pirates.
So you know, I'm going to say it like this. You're at that point, you're not. You're already getting acclimated to winning and kicking ass.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and the concept of teamwork. Okay.
Yes.
Which is cool, you know, because we all talk about, you know, winning is why we want to do this.
Yes.
You know, it's winning. Winning gives you the goosebumps. It gives you the drive, and it helps you get up in the morning and hopefully not be an ass.
Right.
You know.
It does.
So at what point? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
At what point do you all of a sudden say, you know what? I want to get into this racing thing. I've been following it for so long, because we all have that moment. Like, I grew up in it. You know, you grew up in it. But I never thought I could turn it into a job. And when I was 20 years old, I said, I'm gonna make a career out of this, and went back to school and, you know, did it. But so at what point does the racing come in for you?
Finished up my eligibility. Finished up in '96, and of course I was born and raised outside of Richmond. So went back home. Had about 3 weeks off for Christmas break that time. We were 1996. Let me just kind of talk about that year for football. We were like 14th or 15th in the country, but because we were independent, us and Notre Dame were the two independents. But since little ECU and Eastern North Carolina wasn't in a major conference, we got looked over for a bowl game that year, which totally to this day has everyone just questioning how did a team that was top 15 in the country get looked over. Well, we were independent. We weren't secured in a bowl, and of course back then there weren't as many bowls.
Yep, and how they ran that
as they are now. You only had you went to a bowl game back then. That was pretty damn stout.
That's right. Yeah.
So we didn't make a bowl that year. The previous years we went to the Liberty Bowl, which was pretty cool. But went home and what's any good college guy do when he had 3 weeks off? Let's figure out.
I know.
Let's go figure out how to go to work.
Oh, I didn't do that.
So
sorry.
my boy Judy Donlevy, it was down in Richmond, and the number 90 Highlight Myers Ford Thunderbird, and I had kind of been speaking with Junie. I met Junie.
Was Mike Wallace driving that at the time?
Dick Trickle.
Dick
Trickle.
Good Wisconsin guy.
Yeah, this was right after Mike Wallace.
Okay, did you have to put a lighter in the dash?
Yeah, he had of course he had the
smoky treats.
He had his cigarette pocket in his
had a spot
fire
for
suit.
everything up on the dash. So I ended up working Christmas time for free just to be able to start touching a jack at a dump can, just to be able to start getting experience and reps and work for free. Ended up getting pit practice, got acclimated with it, started the season off traveling with those guys as a second can man, actually. So came right out of the gates at 22 years old and had worked in the shop for about a month for free.
Right.
And off to Daytona we go. So I would drive back to Richmond where their team was, and then ride in their van down to Daytona.
Oh,
I was like, man, this is big time. This is big time.
So-
I got a hat. I got a Highlight Myers hat and a race day shirt.
Race day shirt.
So and a pair of mechanics wear, gloves.
Maybe a one polo.
So
right?
I was money.
You
I was
got
like,
fire
damn, I'm
suits?
So,
freaking winning some
and you're
cup
22.
racing.
You're what? You're 6'5".
Yeah.
And what? Maybe 245.
Some 250, 280, somewhere,
okay.
give or take 30 pounds.
And it's all
Yeah. So we start the season off, and I'm driving back and forth from
Gotta bring
ECU
that up.
and all this, that, and the other. And one thing led to the other, and ended up busting my butt for Junie. And Tommy Baldwin came on board as our crew chief that year. Remember we ran finished third or fourth at Talladega that year, and ended up one thing leading to the other, and I said, you know what, it's time for me to go to Charlotte.
Okay.
So Big Ed's going to go to Charlotte. So I'm in Greenville, North Carolina, which is 4 hours from Charlotte. So I was still a full-time student at ECU, but I'd set all my classes since football eligibility finished up. I set all my classes in the morning.
You're going to college and you're doing this racing.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
So I go from working for free, sleeping the floors, and doing tear down and any other thing.
Whatever. I like to say
out.
you were a roofer. You did everything from the roof down.
Yeah.
Whatever they told you
Once
to
a
do.
show, he slides in,
Yeah.
folks.
I tried it because
That's
that's
it.
how we all
Yeah,
started.
yeah.
You
So nothing's
There is-
handed. Nothing was handed.
There was none of this. I put that right side window in, or
no.
I put that crush panel. No,
You
you're
paid your
gonna
dues.
sweep the floor. You're gonna
You
wax
paid your
the
dues,
car.
yeah.
You're gonna clean the toilets.
Right.
It was everything.
That was the first time I learned about how explosive a rear gear at Martinsville can
Okay,
be.
gotcha.
We were, I was a part of the road crew. I was a volunteer part of the road crew, but I also was underneath mechanic, believe it or not, at that time. And that's when we were running a lot of petroleum-based rear gear oil.
Yeah.
And you remember when you'd start overheating a rear gear, and the first thing you would go in behind the wall to change that rear gear out if you ended up burning it out. As soon as you cracked that pumpkin open, that bell
it wanted to catch
get
fire.
air up in there,
Yeah.
you end up with a.
With a flash.
That was the first time I
Yeah.
saw one of those. I'm still missing eyebrows.
So you're going to Charlotte, and you decide to go to not just any team. You went to
Hendrick Motorsports.
there. You go big or go home.
Because as a child, I remember how to get there. So I was like, well, let's go to the place that I remember how to get there. And oh, by the way, in '97, they weren't doing really too shabby.
Right.
So let's go big or go home.
Right.
Ended up pulling into Hendrick Motorsports, knocked on the door. Nobody answered. I'm like, what kind of place is this? Dude's banging on the door. We didn't have
Before key cards.
Just
and,
reception. Yeah,
security.
this was a race shop,
Right,
man. If you
yeah.
weren't freaking digging, you weren't belonging.
Right.
All of a sudden, I went and hit another door. Andy Graves comes to me and says, son, what are you doing out here? And luckily, I knew who Andy was. I said, Mr. Graves, I'm Ed Watkins, finished up football at ECU, played center. I want to be part of the pit crew. And he says, I'll be dog. He says, Ray right over there, he's putting together a brand new pit crew.
Okay.
Probably want to talk to you.
And you said Ray.
Perfect.
Did you know Ray he
so-
meant, or just?
I knew. I had a general idea
okay,
of,
so you walk
of who he
over.
was talking about.
But I
with
like
that.
how he went. He shot for the moon. He's
Sure,
just
you gotta
like,
do
I'm
that,
gonna go
amen.
knock on this
You
door.
gotta do it. They're not
So-
gonna find you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy
You gotta
Grace,
go
he
let
had
him know who you-
Budweiser stuff on at the
Sure.
time. He was on the 25.
Okay.
He was crew
Okay.
chief on the 25. He ends up taking me over back around the building, and I said, "Man, this guy's really pulling my leg." We're going behind the building, but back then that's where they didn't have truck bays.
Thought you're going to get a long wait. Or
Yeah, you
something.
go a long way. Yeah, that's
You
a
had to
good
go
one.
get one.
Yeah, I had to go a long way. About 98 or 97 or 98, I went on a long way.
Got it.
All right.
And that was after I had to go find the muffler bearer.
What they're talking about is mythical things that newbies in racing are
Yeah, you
sent
get
to
sent
find,
for.
and they send you from team to team to team before someone finally pulls you aside and says, "Hey man, you're getting
Refer to
hosed
it
here."
as the rookie hazing
Hazing,
process.
right,
You know.
But go ahead. So you go around back, and there is.
Well, that's where the trucks were because there was no truck bay back then.
Okay.
So you had the 25, the 24, because they were kind of in that same general area in front of what we called Break Clean Pond. And all of a sudden you could hear a shot dyno running inside the 24, and we go bebopping up in there. And yeah, there's this tall, skinny guy standing there just looking pissed off at the world, just
Right.
going through notes, you know, because he was mad because he didn't sit on the pole. He didn't
Yeah.
lead every race. I think he won, but they didn't lead enough laps.
yeah.
So he was pissed off.
Right.
Mad as a rattlesnake.
Mad as a rattlesnake. Trying to figure out their shock package for, I believe it was Charlotte, for probably the All-Star race that particular year. He was running through all kinds of stuff, and you could see he was really, really focused in on that. And Andy Graves comes in and says, "Ray, got somebody that was banging on the front door you might want to talk to." So, you know, that really kind of
Sure.
set off that much more of a nagging type of,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
reaction from him. So here I am, 22 years old, and I look right at him, and I'm like, God, this man is tall and skinny.
Right.
He's a lot skinnier in
he
real
looks on
life than he is on
TV.
TV.
Right.
Yeah.
And he looked at you and said, "Oh my God, I better talk to this guy.
Right.
He's 6'5",
Right.
and he's blocking all the light from the back of the hauler." But go ahead.
So I look right at him. I said, "Mr. Everham,
Mr.
Ed Watkins, played football at ECU. Hey, listen to me. I want to be part of your pit crew."
Right.
And he said, "Oh, you do?" And I said, "Oh boy, here we go." And he said, "Well, first off," he says, "my name's not Mr. Evernham." And I was like, "Bullshit." I was like, "This guy, I know exactly who this guy is."
Right.
And he said, "That's my dad."
Okay. Perfect.
He said, "You can call me Ray."
All right. That's a good
And
start.
I said, "All right, we're starting to lay the groundwork for establishing a good line of communication and,
perfect. Yep.
and moving forward." And that basic interview went from, all right, we're practicing tomorrow. We're putting this, you know, pit crew concept together where we're having to start to transition shop guys and road mechanics away from the pit crew, and we're starting to bring in young guys.
Sure, and he
This
was,
is a-
if you think about that Rainbow Warrior
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
he was one of the first ones that started to push the athletes
yep.
and more of the independentness of the crew chief of
Right.
the pit crews
Right. Away from the
away
shop.
from
guy.
the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead. So now you're doing it.
And he invited me for practice the next day. So I was like, fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Everham.
My
You said
house
that,
is
dude.
4 hours away, and I just landed this gig and I have nowhere to stay. So,
What'd you do?
what do? I ended up going back up the hill, because back then it was a little gas station.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And then it was Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah,
and that was
exactly.
about it. So, I didn't want to.
You just hung out at Baby
I didn't
Dolls.
look- I
for,
didn't-
no.
No.
Never mind that.
Go ahead.
He ended up going, got something at the gas station up there at the top of the hill.
Right.
It was whatever mini mart it was. And I
Yeah.
ended up spending the night in the parking lot at Hendrick Motorsports in my
Yeah.
1987 Ford Bronco.
How comfortable was that?
I still have the pains from it.
You're comfortable. Yeah, go ahead.
But I didn't. It was basically I had acquired enough, you know, time to skip class, and that was an opportunity.
You
that
didn't
I
go to Baby Dolls at all? then?
did. No, that was pretty good.
God,
I didn't have enough money to get in there. I was living on penny draft back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, spent the night in the parking lot at Hendrick Motorsports, probably May of 1997. Everybody came rolling in the next morning. Started hearing everybody rolling in. So Went back up to the same gas station and took a sink bath. Kind of got freshened up and put a different ECU football shirt on because the one that I had on the day before was all sweaty from sleeping in.
Okay,
in your truck.
Sure.
So freshened up, put a new ECU football shirt on, and right back to Hendrick Motorsports and off with the guys. Very first pit practice, and from that point, that was a Thursday.
Right.
Got a itinerary, made it to the flight, my first flight. So it
you got hired.
Got hired.
You got hired
for free.
Wow. Okay. Got it. Go ahead.
So got hired for free.
Pro bono again? You're working pro bono again?
Well, here's where it gets good. So I show myself because of basically all the time that I started traveling and acquiring time at the track. I ended up, after about a few weeks, because I was driving 4 hours back and forth, and I'm like, hey, this guy's panning out pretty good.
Yeah.
I really don't think we're going to be able to get rid of him. So I put Ray in a really bad spot of having to figure out what's he going to do with me.
Right.
Yeah.
So through the graces of God, he had a weakness against, I guess he acquired a little bit of just feeling sorry for me, I guess, and wanted to help me.
Right.
So he picked up my gas bill, my fuel bill for driving back and forth, and like a Subway sandwich. So I was big time. So I was getting a reimbursement check.
For your lunch?
Oh, exactly. For driving, because I was having to drive.
Sandwich construction over there.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
I worked there. I remember that.
So I was driving 4 hours back and forth on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It'd been 8 hours round trip, 4 hours one way. But I was big time. I was getting my fuel bill reimbursed, and I was getting a Subway sandwich for free, and I got the hat and the T-shirt to show it. And I was off traveling on the weekends.
Bragging rights at school.
And bragging rights at school.
So that started. So then, at what point did they bring you on full time?
98 was when.
When did this start though?
97.
So you did how long with?
About a year, almost about a year.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Ray, you took advantage of this poor guy, okay? Jeez, so go ahead.
I think you made up for it.
I know. There's a little sarcasm, yeah, but go ahead.
It's sarcasm.
Are you ready for an upgrade? Need to refresh that patio? Want to add more fun to your home? Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms makes it fun to stay at home. We offer a huge selection of high-quality outdoor furniture, pool tables, shuffleboard, ping pong, and much, much more. Your oasis awaits. So don't miss the boat. Take your patio or game room up to the next level. Lake Norman Patio and Game Rooms. Stop in today or visit us online at lknpatio.com.
Now, so 98, they say, come on, you're on.
Yep. Things started panning out. And actually became, in 98 was Jeff Gordon. 97, 98, Jeff Gordon.
Not bad.
And 99. And then 2000, Abraham Motorsports days, and transitioned into that.
Right. So you said that you told us earlier about how you, in 2000, when the Ray Abraham Motorsports, you watched that happen.
Yes, it was the.
Sure. I mean,
we didn't have the J skis, we didn't have the stuff online.
Sure,
It was pretty much what Speed Sport magazine, and that was how we were able to keep up with stuff.
Scene.
And inside Winston Cup on Sunday on TNN. So, the rumor, of course, all that. Everybody remembers the new manufacturer coming in.
Right.
Things will be different next year. Things will be different. It's this big red Dodge Intrepid all in your face. I remember seeing billboards all through Charlotte.
Oh, sure.
Next year, things will be different. And sure enough, Dodge came to Ray to put him together for the flagship leader of the introduction to Dodge into motorsports. I'll never forget we were at pit practice, seeing Ray in his blue Chevy Blazer, pulls out and leaves in the middle of pit practice and comes back about an hour later in a brand new cherry red Dodge Durango. And he gets out and it's like, game on. We know what's happening here.
Here we are.
And shortly after that, started seeing him loading his office, putting stuff up, and that was the beginning of Abraham Motorsports.
Got it. So you worked there for a while, and then you worked your way towards, that went away. What driver did you work for there?
Bill Elliott.
Bill Elliott, right?
And then
Casey Kane, Jerry Mayfield.
Okay, so you're there for that whole. Now, were you Gasman then or Jackman?
Jackman.
Jackman, okay.
Yeah, I was Jackman from the very start of 97 up to 2010.
Okay. And when you made the transition, was it something you just said, hey, look, is it something you asked for, or that you noticed that?
Well, it was something I always loved about fueling, because I started at Junie Don Levy's as handing fuel in.
Right.
So that was kind of my first intimate interaction with
Right.
pit equipment.
Right.
And I remember, later on at Hendrick, seeing, all these fabricators that could take a fuel probe and just gut a fuel probe and take a fuel probe from flowing 8 seconds to flowing 5 seconds. It's fascinating. I just love that, where you're taking a gravity-fed dump can, and through gutting the can and doing work with the probes, you're increasing the flow rate exponentially. But I always had a thing for gassing, and when basically the development of the sport changed, safety, I guess, was pretty much the biggest driver. So from 2010 to 2011, they eliminated the catch can man.
Yeah, me.
So then that put the gas man on the island. So when you would,
I'm sorry, I got to interject.
No,
they actually eliminated me when Shaggy, the kid on the 20, could put the wrench. He's 6'5" or whatever, and he could put the wedge wrench in.
he could about wipe the grill back there.
Yeah, and he's catching gas, and he put the wedge wrench in, and they're like, "Ooh, that's a good idea." They kind of looked at me and like,
Hey, 5'6".
"Hey, we think we're going to leave you back at the shop."
You're a great fabricator,
Right.
Yeah.
You're very important to this team.
It used to be you wanted a little catch can guy so that all the guys could get around
you now. Hey,
You
you want a Daytona 500 doing that? So
I did. I'm good with it. I had my day in the sun.
I don't know how many times you'd look down pit road in the 20 that Shaggy was on that back then. You could see double adjustments. They were making double adjustments, and he had that back window glass like it was his office. And he was putting wrenches and double adjustments and doing all this, knocking rounds out
while he's gassing, or
while he's propped up against the catch can.
Yeah, he's got the catch can plugged in, and he's doing doing work, and it's like, I got to get a monkey to sit.
That's huge, because back then you had either your carrier or your jackman having to do that stuff.
Perfect. Okay, so as you progress, you go to the gas man. So Gillette Evernham goes away. You go to
Ganassi. That was when the catch can man got removed during the choreography. So they went from 7 to 6.
Right.
And that put your gas man on an island. Right then and there in 2011.
And to be more important
was when your gas man became, hold on a second. We're either going to send cars out with a half a tank, or we're going to get them full. And that's
it's
huge.
your plug-in time and how
so
it's flowing.
You think about it, when those cars came in, old days, plug in, nonchalant, you hand it to your catch can man, and the gas man goes back and nonchalantly grabs another can. Catch can man's flowing fuel.
Right.
Guys come around the rear of the car, then catch can man pulls the first can, gas man plugs in again. Ho hum, no big deal.
Right.
Car's full, out she goes. Well, now in 2011, the car comes in, bam, you're plugged in. I don't have anybody to hand it off to. If I'm not there, it's not flowing.
Right.
So car's in, you've got about 5 seconds, and you got to be out the way because that rear changer's coming. So that car drops, boom, you're flipping that can, and if you're not in position flowing, you're not flowing fuel.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm. Was there not and it didn't last long? Didn't you guys set the can on a deck lid for? Was there one little stent to that, or did they stop? I think they stopped.
There was a stent. I remember when I was jacking, we used to set the right rear tire out on pit road because that would give us a little bit more room for the cars coming out. And then the can 1 to can 2 transition at one point, if it had fuel in it, because of limited personnel behind the wall, a lot of catch can guys would pull it and just lay it on the deck lid.
We were throwing it,
rather than throwing it.
Yeah, because none of that. You're done with that.
So our viewers now, you're getting like the intricate details of how pit stops have evolved.
Absolutely.
In the last, let's say, 20 years. That's safe to say. 20 years, and you had to adapt and everything. Warren was a catch can, and then that position was gone, and now you're talking about, Ed, how you have to plug in, get out of the way,
plug-in time, and all that stuff is like critical.
Critical. Jeez. And you're doing 12, 13-second stops.
Yep, absolutely. And then the advent of the clutch gun came down a pipeline. Next thing you know, we're having 11-second stops on the norm. So you're flowing, and that was back when we were running also that hard tire. So you had full fuel runs. Right. And I remember it was norm to dump 18.3, 18.5 on full fuel runs. And the next thing you know,
gallons, right?
Yeah, 18.3, 18.5 gallons. And next thing you know, we're running that hard tire. Next thing you know, here comes Michigan. And they start running Michigan. This is probably 2013, 2014, 2015, Michigan, California, so many races. Then with that hard tire and with that aero package, everything started kind of lining out and spreading out. So we had a lot of green flag runs. And then your long runs ended up being, okay, well, we're going to run those races like a road course. So Michigan ended up being a true 2 or 3 pit stop race.
Yep.
And you had to be at max fill every time. And I remember we won Michigan with Larson for his first win. And I remember looking back at my notes, and I dumped 18.5 on my first stop, like 18.3 my second stop, and like 18.4 or something on my third stop. And nothing, if it would have been less, you would have never had that strategy to do a road course style strategy where your lap is, say, 267 for a checker, so you're backing your fuel runs up and your road course racing that.
Question, just random. What's the worst stop you ever had? Do you remember?
Worst stop.
Where you're like,
You can leave a can in or anything, get away out.
Gassing or jacking?
Let's do both.
Either way. Did your jack ever go down pit road on?
Yeah,
well,
remember the dirt bag move back then was if you didn't like your jackman, like the car carrier or the changer would come by and loosen the handle, the set screw. There's a set knob.
Yeah, okay.
So the next thing you know, the car's coming down pit road.
Right.
Rookie jackman picks the jack up. Somebody had loosened the set knob on it. The handle comes out. Jack falls down. And, fortunately, that never happened. I always had the biggest.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Rip somebody's face off.
So go ahead. So what was your worst your stop?
Oh, geez. Probably my first stop. When I was in development stages at Hendrick, starting with Jeff Gordon. I was getting my reps on Saturdays with Jason Keller.
There you go.
First stops in '97 was going over the wall, and absolutely didn't remember my first pit stop or two. And that was probably, who knows what happened. I had these flimsy Simpson shoes on that had no business being over the wall. Had black Levi jeans on, and a white generic button-up shirt and a headset, and that was my uniform going over the wall. I was before helmets.
You were shiznit,
Before fire suits.
That was before fire suits and helmets.
You're busting your ass in gas and them crazy little Simpson shoes.
All right, so
them things would get greasy. I know what shoes you're talking about.
All right, as a gas man, your worst stop ever.
I'm still gassing, so I haven't had too many of those.
Okay, got it.
Right. Knock on wood.
Right.
Knock on wood.
Real wood.
I guess once my active career is over with, we can start talking about that
so
stuff.
Did you ever lose a can down everyone drag out?
Yeah, in a truck race I did. But it was one of those things, the really tight dry brakes. I can come up with any good pit crew guy can come up with excuses. The dry brake hole was really tight,
I get it. No, I'm just trying to because
I'm gonna run and get my catch can real quick.
Go ahead, that's fine.
And then I'm gonna tell a story Ed will like.
So the thing because you've had all these great accomplishments. So how many championships do you have in your craft?
97, 98, and 2017.
Okay.
And thought we were going to have one last year.
Right.
Came really, really close last year.
And Daytona 500, you have how many?
97, 98, and 2019.
He's going to laugh at how big this is.
That's good. So this is an actual race used race used catch can. So we're bringing props out tonight, boy.
What I would do before the race would start is I would fill us up with fuel.
Right.
And then put it on the 3-wheel cart and then top off the smallest can, the lowest can we had. Right. So we'd have a can with an extra gallon. Just holds a gallon. Okay. So and then I would take this and
explain what's on the back of that. Go ahead.
So this would push the the catch the vent.
So let the vent open up, right?
Yep. And this vents the can. And I would take this. It's got a handle on it.
So you put the non-skid
tape on it. Yeah. And I would take this and I would zip tie this. To my belt.
To your belt.
To my radio belt. So, I had it zip tied with 4 zip ties. So if the car was going, I was going with it. Because I was never going to leave my stuff.
You're committed. Okay.
That happened.
So there's a story behind that. You made that.
So I made this, yeah.
Okay, so what race was that used in?
The Daytona 500.
Which one?
2001. 2000. This is my whole career.
Right? Okay, that's it. So that is a Daytona 500 winning catch can. Is that
it's actually signed by
Michael. There you
now, did you use that for the whole? Was that yours for the season?
Yeah.
Same
There
one
you
for
go.
season.
Yeah, I made it and then I just use it and
You guys at DEI, you guys had some pretty trick go. I wasn't sure if that was your Speedway
Slugger
can or
Slugger
not.
would always have me make sure you
Right,
top
sure,
that off
sure.
before you go to pit road,
Right.
and I would set it in a 3-wheel cart so it couldn't spill, and then
Right.
I'd top the can off, which they don't let you do no more.
Exactly.
And
All
I
right.
got my hard card taken away.
Shocking. All right, Ed. So now let's.
You had like guys putting 14 gallons in one dump can.
So what we you
because you could put a big, you had a
big can, and the reason we did it, people say, well, why would you do that? You have enough fuel, and it's like, because then you could, if you only needed one can.
the 2-tire right side,
Right.
but you're at a 14 gallon.
Yeah, you have
Everyone else having to take 4 tires. You're able to, if tire wear wasn't
Right.
an issue, you're able to take right.
One can, yeah.
So, Ed,
I love it.
we're talking some gas stuff over here.
Puddin'. I
So
see my boy Richard.
Yeah. So we got some.
Puddin', what's up, big
There
boy?
you go. Michael Brill says, "How did you bust your knees at pit practice?"
Oh God, yes.
Okay, so that's Mike Brill asking questions.
That was a bad day.
Okay, so you're
we
gonna
don't
have
even
to-
talk about
Okay,
that.
so there you
anymore.
go. We're not going to talk about that.
God, I forgot
Richard
about
Coleman
that.
says they stopped letting gasmen set the can on the deck lid once they realized teams were using that as an opportunity to cave in the deck lids, creating a boatload more downforce. So there you go.
Take the spoiler out of wind.
Thank Chad. I'm sure he's Chad Canales there. So. All right, so you're winning championships along the way.
Boatload.
Got it. We're getting there. I'm working up the segue. Thank you very much. So you're winning your championships. You're winning
I'm
your
trying to build a
500.
kegway. It's a segue that
I
is
got
a
it.
keg.
Right.
Never mind.
Trish Chase said Warren zip tied that to him so he could pull the spoiler down. 200, not lying there. Anyhow, so now you won your championships, your 500s with Denny. How many did you win with him?
2020.
Denny Hamlin. And now let's catch up. Now you're with Bubba, the 23X11, right?
With Denny, yeah.
Like, that's good.
And
And
his,
so
his race team.
this weekend you got a lot of TV time. We were like, hey, there's Ed again. There's Ed again. Every pit stop, oh, there's Ed
Car
again.
was fast.
And you won a stage, so congrats on that.
Yeah.
What's Bubba like? I mean, people. He's polarizing for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
But I mean, you're there with him. You're watching him, right? You're part of the team.
First impressions, great guy. Very humble.
Yep.
Very sincere. And all the qualities that a teammate endures. It's he seems like he's a very team-oriented individual, and you got to respect him for that. You got to respect for what he's done with the sport. You got to respect for what he's brought and the viewership that he's brought to the sport. And I can't say enough good things about him.
And now
And we all definitely know he's trying, and he's got a lot of pressure on him.
Sure.
And
Big shoes,
Big
big,
shoes,
big
yeah,
expectation.
yeah.
That's a very, very tough
Situation,
deal,
yeah.
tough situation when you're still growing and developing,
Yeah.
and you get into a situation where it's expectations.
Your owners are Michael Jordan, 3-time Daytona 500 champion Danny Hamlin, and by the way, you're affiliated with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Exactly.
There's just a couple of names there. Pit
Right.
coach of the couple. What did he win? Oh yeah, Super Bowls.
Right.
So I mean, I get that. So okay, so as if you don't have enough going on in your life, all the stuff you decided a couple years ago. Hey, I want to get in the boating business.
I did. So
Okay.
basically took everything I own and pawned it up as collateral to the bank and went out, jumped off the cliff, took the parachute off, and bought a boat dealership. And it has been an endeavor that I just enjoy every day. It's
How many
been-
years you've had it now?
That was January 17 when I took ownership of it.
Okay.
And it's been a blast. It's just been great. I see the fulfillment. Here's a good one. You always think of pressure. For me as a gas man, what is pressure? Pressure's coming up
Right.
on that last pit stop
Yep.
of the Daytona 500, and you're leading the damn race,
Right.
and it's coming up to a fuel critical situation where it's what you call your get home lap. So lap 181 is your get home lap, and if you get it full, you can make it to the end, and you're leading Daytona
The
500.
money stop.
The money
man.
stop.
The money stop.
I always thought that was pressure. Being an entrepreneur and a businessman,
Right.
that is pressure, but
Yeah.
I love it. I embrace it. I love the leadership qualities that it presents and it brings. I love building a team. And we came from just being, when I took over, just a sleepy little bass boat dealership in Denver, North Carolina, to becoming the fastest growing boat dealership in the Southeast with awesome brands. Sea-Pro Center Console, Stingray deck boats and runabouts, Ranger bass boats, G3 aluminum, and G3 Suncatcher pontoons and tritoons. and we went from one motor manufacturer to the big boys, all of them.
Really?
Now. So we got Suzuki, we got Yamaha, we got Mercury. So
And you're also sponsoring professional fishermen.
we got we got pro staff guys. We got Todd Otten, runner up in the Daytona 500 of bass fishing in 2020, which is the Bassmaster Classic.
Yep.
He was the runner up in the Bassmaster Classic of 2020. And how humbling is that when you see the dude holding up his fish with the fireworks going off as runner up the Bassmaster Classic with your logo right there on his what we call his race day shirt, which is his sponsored tournament shirt. But there was his logo and stuff. But we got a very, very good pro staff team. But the best pontoon boats, center consoles, offshore center consoles, and deck boats, bay boats, you name it.
So you're successful in college. I always say this when people ask, you learned how to be successful in life, period. You're successful in college, you're successful in NASCAR, and you had to work your tail off to be successful in this boating thing, but you know how to be a winner, and you're doing it. So it's not, stuff doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And I applaud you for what you're doing. I really do, because I like to say there is life after NASCAR, and you're proof of it.
But you're doing it while you're doing NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's even better. So I know Richard Coleman says Big Ed is another fantastic example of teammate and leader in racing. I've always looked up to him, and not because he's a foot taller than me.
Well, and how many kids have you taught?
Yeah,
I'll tell you about a damn good tire carrier, Richard Coleman.
Yeah, good tire carrier.
Freaking first time I ever saw a rear end housing get thrown out of alignment was when he threw the right rear tire in on pit road during a green flag stop. That was as a tire carrier. If you're throwing
hitting it that hard,
it that hard, nothing but studs.
Right.
And you're hitting it so hard you can see the car just moving on the jack. That was Puddin' or Richard Coleman throwing indexes on his tires.
Good. So first of all, and I know on a personal side is your wife has been through a battle with cancer and everything.
Correct.
And we've been following along, Vonda, right?
Yep.
And how she's
got some incredible people that are taking care of her at Wake Forest. Right. The best cancer research and best cancer research in the world. They're very cutting edge, and that's what impressed me about Wake Forest. So when unfortunate news hit that she had cancer, we knew we had to go and what we needed to do, and I can't thank the people at Wake Forest for doing what they're doing and keeping her life in the best means possible for being able to enjoy her children.
So we keep following on.
Absolutely.
You can win everything you want on the track. Excuse me, I'm just kidding. But life's going to throw you those curveballs.
Absolutely.
And, you guys have been very open about it, and I get pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Warren, take over here.
All right. So, do you rent? Where are you located?
We are in Denver, North Carolina.
Denver?
My bread and butter is sales and service.
Okay.
I'm going to get into the rental side, but not yet, because everything I've got on the lot, including the gravel, I've sold.
Right.
Okay.
So
business is really good.
Business is booming.
That's good.
Business is booming.
So would you rent to Warren and I for a weekend?
As long as I can come. That's part of it. I got to be the first mate, just so I can't miss out.
I
love racing stories.
Not only can you go with us,
miss out on
we'll
this.
just let you drive.
I was in the Navy. I was hanging out driving those boats.
That's
That's what I say.
Anyways.
So as you're going through now, you have some guys. You're in the service industry too. So
yes.
I want to touch upon this because, and you have had success, and you realize, hey, there's guys out here that the sport has changed.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have been kicked
Do
to
you have
the curb.
are you working on ex-NASCAR guys who work
Right.
for you?
And so he
Okay,
has.
let's hear it.
In your service shop, you can walk in and find
some of the best road crew mechanics and pit crew guys that have ever been in racing. Multiple championships, multiple winnings, best tire changers, best road crew mechanics.
You can name them all because
give us a couple.
Yeah, give us a couple.
Just
We have a very large audience right now.
We're talking about team sports.
Yes,
and,
that's
and,
what I'm getting
and,
at.
and how
Would they follow
I
you?
am nothing. I am nothing if it
Without-
wasn't
yeah.
for these guys.
Right.
Just like, you know,
But they also wanted to come work for you,
Exactly.
probably because you left a mark on their soul.
I can't say enough about these guys. Mike Lingerfeld,
Absolutely.
Aaron Powell. You know, I got Eric from Joe Gibbs Racing down there. He's leading up my whole detail department. So we, of course, make our sold boats the prettiest.
Yeah.
And we retail sell. So anybody comes in with a boat that's been neglected, we do retail work to generate a fine product for the customer to go back. They might not want to do business with me to sell it, but they can get, of course, you just need to get it cleaned up. So bring your boat to us. We do plenty of details and stuff like that.
Lingerfeld is a legendary
Legend.
legendary
Absolute legend. Absolute legend.
I mean, I was in a possibly a drinking establishment with him one night. He's not much bigger than me.
Right.
He's maybe 5'8".
He's a bulldog.
And
he's got shoulders.
We were hitting
the inverted pyramid.
We're hitting his bag. We're hitting his punching bag.
The vending,
I think he ruined it. I think I could get it up to 800. He got it past 1,000.
You can see how lug nuts come off so fast. You got jackhammers going.
Yeah, he's an animal, and he's a great guy.
He's my general manager.
Very
it's an
humble.
honor and privilege, and it's an absolute honor. He has done an incredible job for us. He's done an incredible job of helping build the team that we have at Ed Watkins
Would you see if
Marine.
he would like to come on our show?
Oh, it'd be an honor.
Oh, yeah.
He really would.
Heck,
I'll
yes.
pass that.
Pass that on
he's,
to him.
he's another great. He's
He
an
is.
absolute great.
Because,
Tons of stories.
Oh, my
The
God.
thing about our show is that we like to have
Championship tire changer for the 48 for
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
almost all of them.
And so, like we talk about, the sport does its deal, but through you and what you purchased this marine business, now all of a sudden you're giving people, give them a chance.
Yep.
So you're keeping them employed, food on the table, and pride in what they're doing.
So we're growing, and we're growing in the right way. We're growing with a solid, solid selection of brands. You got to have a good selection of brands.
Absolutely.
We got an awesome for every pontoon, center console, bass boat, runabout, deck boat is the top brand in that particular segment, and we've got them. I've got in the service department Al Stoker, 50-year. He's the Ray Evernham of race boats. Everybody knows Steve D'Souza.
Yeah.
Steve D'Souza, GM at the Xfinity program for Joe Gibbs Racing. His crew chief, when Steve won all those Formula One World Championships for Interstate, remember he was driving the Interstate F1
That's right, yeah.
powered boat. Al Stoker was his crew chief and competitor as well too. So Al goes way back. The man is one of those guys where you're looking at an Evinrude outboard, Mercury outboard, and walking encyclopedia can identify that injector, spit the 8-digit part number out, tell you which one was superseded and what the new part number was.
Right.
But the man's just a living legend. So he's one of my techs, surrounded by a raw group of attention to detail, very successful team guys from NASCAR, and it's just making some incredible operation.
Well, it like Ray did, you surround yourself with good people.
Exactly.
You'll have a good business.
So Ian Moy here says, from you,
Yeah.
Hey,
he says, Big Daddy won my first race with him at Homestead in 2015.
Wow,
One of the absolute best people in the sport. There
I
you
love
go.
Ian, absolutely.
He's a good kid, man.
Steph,
Ian, just
Tom B
awesome.
says, God bless your wife, Ed.
Thank
Steph
you, Tom.
Shoot, prayers for you guys. Richard Coleman, people always follow quality leadership. Perfect example, Big Ed Watkins. Keep up the fantastic work, Big Daddy. I will always be proud to say I got to work with you. So I'm telling you, you leave your mark in the sport, and it's the work you do, and you can say, I got this championship, I've got this. But you know what? If you're a shitty person,
Right.
People remember that
they
too.
remember that too. If you're a
We
quality
usually don't
person-
have them on.
Right, no, we don't. Well, we have one on. We're going to go into that right now.
All those
You can figure out who.
those years of racing was the teammates are what makes it. I remember, in the early days of Abraham Motorsports, they were not the easy days. We were basically coming in at 7, and we were working for multiple years. We didn't know we were going home. I remember those first 2 years. You would come in, you didn't know when you were going home.
Call them half days.
How do you become successful in racing? You work half days.
Half days.
Well, what's a half day in racing?
It's a 7 to 7 at least.
A full half day.
12 hours.
24 hours in a day. You just work a half day.
I
It's
was
12
trying to figure
hours.
out, so it's a mathematical thing. Okay, got it.
So we
Work a
work
half day today.
We worked half
Tired.
days, 7 days a week,
Right, got it.
and that was on a good note.
Yeah.
To this day, I cannot stomach a Papa John's pizza because we would work so late. About 7:30. If at 7:30, that was the time that dictated if you're going to about midnight. If you saw Papa John's pizzas coming in,
here we go.
you just
Son of a bitch.
signed up for a full pull.
Garlic sauce and pepperoni.
So you saw Papa John's
There goes the pepperoni.
at 7:30 in the break room, and you were there
That's
till
good.
about midnight.
And I'm at a point now in my life where I'd rather eat the cardboard box than the pizza from Papa John's house. You know, just dip the cardboard.
There
in
goes
the
our Papa John's
garlic
sponsorship
sauce.
of the show. Right out the
We ain't
window.
getting one of them anymore.
But we're still having a sponsorship if you want to talk to us. If you have another
We got
pizza
to
make
replace
a-
the Papa John's.
I like the
sponsorship.
Papadillas.
So Ed, we have
All
some
right.
room if you want to sponsor. Anyhow,
Ed
So-
Watkins Marine.
That's it,
Your
I get it, I
go-to
get
for
it.
all your service and sales needs.
Keep it up,
that's
Cal.
good.
At the pub.
Pub Table Racers. You heard the clock go, the Martinsville clock. I want to tell you thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Your
This is
story is
phenomenal.
amazing. Football. You took that teamwork concept. Then you said I'm going to go work in racing, and he's done it. I've done it. You just give up and you're like, I'm going to go, and you take crappy ass things,
Right.
low paying. You do stuff for free.
That's what it took.
And you
You
did
had
it.
to get your
But
foot
you know
in the
what?
door.
Right now
Yeah.
you are. Here we all are. 20-something years
Yeah.
later. I've had the lows. We've all.
Right.
But in the end, it's just if you keep working, it's gonna go.
I like to say this. Ed is definitely one of the dying breeds. He had to be a floor sweeper and a mechanic, and a picker guy. And now there's just these picker guys, and they think they can get a pretty haircut, and they think they can just come on Sunday and
Right.
not have to fix the car or know what the car is all about. And there's a dying breed here.
Right.
And he's definitely part of that, where hopefully the guys that you get to work with, you get to train them a little bit. And, you said it earlier. A guy don't know a pop rivet from a Phillips head screw.
Sure.
And we're glad you do. And I thank you for coming.
Thank you. I
It's an
appreciate it.
honor. We appreciate it. Awesome.
I ran a beer, so I do the toast at the
Can I
end.
can I finish my
You can go now, definitely.
Yeah.
So the one thing I want to
to
say, and this isn't like us tuning our own horn, but these are guys. There's 60 plus years of experience right here. The one thing you never hear out of any of our mouths is that's not right.
Right. Absolutely.
That's just where
But it is our job to have guys
Yeah.
but it is our
That
job
was
to have
your
guys like you on here to toast.
guaranteed exit for any race
Right.
team is to say
Yeah.
that's not my job,
Exactly.
or to show up late to work.
Yeah, you should never be late. Not my job. And the checks in the mail.
Yeah.
Hey, great show.
For
Thank
some
you.
of those race teams, that is.
Yeah.
All right. Should we say
Thank
good
you,
night,
Ed.
Dave?
Good night, Dave.
Good night, Dave. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. See you next week. Wow. Hey, another great show.
Great
Thank
show.
you so much, everybody,
Yep.
for tuning
Enjoyed
in.
it.
We appreciate it. We do this every Tuesday night. And Warren, I think the guests we've had have been fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And the people that are following us, we appreciate it. We're reaching 42,000 people a month. Can you believe that? And we appreciate you watching. And
We're having fun. Hope everybody else enjoys it.
that's it. And it's just a fun show. Bucket of beer, guys sitting around talking about it. So keep tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out our store and everything. But we appreciate you people. And we will see you next week. Right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next week.